Hello everybody, my name is Nitya and today I will be presenting to you my IOC on the poem The Miners by Wilfred Owen. I would like to talk about the plot of the poem first. Tim O'Brien describes a fire damp explosion which took place in the war and led to several deaths of soldiers on the battlefield. He elaborates on the deaths of the soldiers by describing the heaps and piles of white bones on the battlefield and how the soldiers suffered during war. The main themes or ideas behind this poem are sacrifice, pain, war, and suffering. All of these are intertwined, but the most prominent theme would be suffering or pain. First, I would like to talk about the literary devices. The first one is imagery. In lines 5, 6, and 7, he says, "I listed for a tale of leaves and smothered ferns, frond forests, and low-sly lives." The imagery supports the dreamlike, the somber, and the ironic tones in the poem. There is an image of the past innocence of the soldiers recalling frond forests and the low-sly lives before the fawns. In line 11, it says, "Before the birds made nests in summer." This is a visual imagery of the freedom of the birds, which is contrasted or juxtaposed with no freedom of the soldiers. It also shows that the innocent and safe lives of the birds, where they were flying and making nests and nothing was going wrong. The creation of this vivid image also allows the audience to see how the times have changed and shifted from innocence and safety to pain and suffering of the soldiers during war. This could also mean that during war, the soldiers have no choice but to sacrifice their lives for the country and serve for the country, or they would be proved as cowards and would be humiliated. In lines 17 and 18, he says, "And I saw white bones in the cinder shard, bones without number." This could create an image to show how there was too many deaths of bodies to emphasize how war is a mass grave where everybody is dumped into a hole and people are sacrificed for no reason but violence. In the last two lines of the poem, which is lines 33 and 34, it says, "But they will not dream of us poor lads left in the ground." This could signify that soldiers are poor people after coming home, and it is reinforced because it shows an image of the deaths of the miners and the soldiers who died on the battlegrounds, and also reminds the readers about the leaves that went into the ground and changed to coal, which is sort of getting into science. The second literary device that I would like to talk about is metaphors and personification. In the first stanza, the coal is a symbol which is personified to be a character that is telling a story of what happened during the mining disaster, where innocent people died. This relates back to the theme of sacrifice, as people who are insensitive to the soldiers at home are warmed by the death of the soldiers the same way that they're warmed by the coal for the miners died. In line 9, it says, "My fire might show steam phantoms simmer." The steam phantoms could refer to the steam of burning coal, which is compared to the ghosts The metaphor is trying to remind the readers that the death of the soldiers, and it also reminds us of the theme, which is sacrifice. In line 19, he says, "For many hearts with coals are charmed." This could refer to the hearts that are becoming hard and black due to the fire damp explosion, like the coal, which represents how people are suffering and agonized due to war. And in line 26, he says, "In the rooms of amber." The line "in rooms of amber" is a metaphor because it's comparing the lives of the future people to the images of luxury, comfort, and forgetful sleepiness. It also shows, like in the future, when the death of the soldiers, of the miners, have been forgotten. Life's ember is metaphor because the lives of miners and soldiers are compared to the coal, and this shows the ugly disaster that had killed innocent people. These metaphors contribute to the idea of pain and death and suffering of war. The last metaphor is in line 30. It says, "with which we groaned." And 29, "the centuries will burn rich loads." This is a contrast in which groaned conveys the pain of the miners' and soldiers' deaths. In line 32, it says, "while songs are crooned." Crooned sets an ironic contrast, which is sad and murmurs the theme of the reference to coal and suffering. This comparison could also be linked to line 29, "the centuries will burn rich loads." The centuries will burn rich loads is a metaphor because the passing of time is being compared to the burning of coal. Next, I would like to talk about the sound devices, which are consonants, assonants, and etc. So in line 10, he has the consonants of the letters L and D, LD, and these are being repeated, creating a dark sound and somber tone, which as a result contributes to the theme of suffering and pain caused by the war. In line 13, he repeats the sound M, murmuring, and mine. This refers to the beginning. This refers to the emphasis of the fact that coal is the mourning of death of the miners, and as a result demonstrating the pain brought by war. He uses several other literary devices such as allusion. He also uses caesura and other punctuation literary devices. He also uses ambiguity and lastly metonymy. Throughout the passage, he refers to bones. Bones, such as in line 18, bones without number. He also says in line 17, "and as I saw white bones in the cinder shard." Bones are a symbol for the dead bodies to show how the bodies lost their sense of humanity as the people lost all their... Therefore, the previously described and discussed literary devices such as imagery, poetic devices such as sound devices, assonance and consonants, and metaphor and personification help in emphasizing on the overlying theme of the passage, which is suffering and pain of the war.